Okay, guys, sorry, I sort of forgot about you guys, but here is the video for the little top hat. Now, this is for all my collectors and fans on this page that don't want to learn to sew. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do this little top hat. Sorry, he got a little crunched up going to Austin and back. So if you want a more sturdy hat, you can always cut two of these bases and sandwich cardboard in between to make it a little stiffer, but I sort of like the little, you can bend it whichever way for photos, so it gives it a cute little jaunt. Now, this is your typical top hat that is a little smaller at the bottom and bigger at the top. If you wanted a straight top hat, all you would have to do is do this piece as a straight rectangle. But this one I'm going to show you with the curved one. So this is all you need. You're just going to need 3 pieces. I'm going to draw these up nicer for you guys to share in the files. So you have your hat piece, you have your brim, and then you have your top piece. Okay. Now, I told you guys to use Fabri-Tac. Of course, I took my bottle of Fabri-Tac with me to Austin, and thank God it was in a baggie because it came open. So that got thrown away down in Austin, and I forgot to replace it. So I'm just going to try it with Aleene's Tacky Glue. So I'll let you know if that works. I usually use Fabri-Tac just because I know it works really well with the fabric and felt and whatnot. So you're going to need a piece of felt, just any old normal felt. Cut the 3 pieces out. Any little trims or anything that you wanted on this. I'm going to try to do this as a little steampunk hat, so that's why I picked this brown and some different trims like this. Some type of clips to hold this together when you glue it. You can use bobby pins, hair clips. I had these down here in my studio, so I'm going to use those. So that is what you need, and your glue, of course, to make the little top hat. Now you can do it and just sew a little hair clip under this, but what I'm going to, a little bonus here for you guys, I'm going to show you how to make these little headbands. So this way you can make headbands for your dolls. You can attach anything to these, flowers, bows. You can even put like a little piece of Velcro on there and put all your little accessories with another piece of Velcro, and you can interchange them. So I'm going to show you how to do these headbands, and that way you can put your little top hat. Now you can glue it, but I sewed it here. You know I'm trying to get you guys to learn how to sew. Okay. Now, for the, I'm going to get back to this top hat. For the headbands, I ordered this on Amazon. I'll put the link for you. If you don't plan on doing a lot of headbands, you could always order, which are now available readily, especially on Amazon, the little nose strips that go in the masks. As long as they're long enough, you can use those too. They're a little more flexible, like they don't hold their shape as well, but if you're not going to really take these on and off and play with them all the time, those should work. But this is actually just a flat wire, which you can use in the masks. For pumpkin size heads, I measure these at 4. And when I cut them, then I take my little clippers and I sort of just clip off the corners, just so that, you know, you don't have those sharp edges. But that's just my preference. So this is just a regular piece of t-shirt material. Okay. As you can see, it is, I'll measure it exactly. This is going to be way longer than what we need. But let me see. This is about a 6.5. That's way longer than you need. But I'll show you how to do these. And I learned this really cool. I've only been sewing probably 40 plus years. And I learned this really cool way of turning thin casings like spaghetti straps like this inside out instead of having that little hook tool that we usually used. Now, okay, as I said, this is t-shirt material. You can use a woven material. It's just I like using the knit because it has a bit of stretch to it. So yes, you would have to sew this in a straight line, but honestly you can even sew it a little bit crooked because no one's gonna know. Okay, so we're just gonna shove the straw up through there like that. Okay, take a little bit of the top, and maybe you guys know this trick, but I never was taught this and I just thought this was fascinating. So you just take your little tip. This is a kebab skewer. When you have thicker ones, you can use a chopstick. So you're just going to put that end down in there. Okay, and then watch this. Actually, if I turn it this way. Voila! Never knew that. I'd sit there with that little tool with the hook on end, fishing it and ripping my material, and now I'm like, woohoo! You know, it's the little things in life that thrill me. Okay, so that is your fabric for your little headband. You just put this in here. Now what you're going to want to do, actually I need my little skewer again. Let me get these out of the way before I stab myself. Yes, I'm that kind of person. Okay, so all you have to do with this is just sort of tuck that in. And even you guys that don't know how to sew, very simple, just tack that at the end. Put that down to feed your little thing in there. Same way, as I told you, this was a lot of extra fabric. Cut it about here. Tuck that one in, tack it, sew it, and look, you have a nice little covered headband. And as I said, if you can get Velcro pieces that are in little tiny circles, put one of the little Velcro pieces there, glue it or sew it. Sew it would probably be a little more sturdy. And then you can add the other little side of the Velcro on any type of little accessory, and you can have an interchangeable headband. Okay, so that's the headband. Super simple. And now we're going to get to the top hats. As I said, I'm going to redraw these for you guys so that these patterns look a little nicer. This is how they look when I'm drawing something up and trying it for the first time. Not that pretty. Okay, so we are going to get our glue. And I mean, these things are so simple. Like if you wanted to, if you're going to any doll shows and you wanted to sell something, these are nice and simple to make. And they're nice and simple that you guys can make them yourself. So you're going to line your glue on the short side of this. You're going to bring it around and just overlap your edge. Now if you don't want it that drastic of a angle, you can always move that in a bit. So now we're going to go, I probably should have done this first and then did the headband, and then this would have been dry, but that would take thought, and you guys know me, I never use that fleshy gray thing up in my head. So you can come back in. I didn't cut this quite straight, so you can come in and trim that. But this is what you are going for right there. And like I said, this is just regular felt. You can use any different colors. You could use red or pink for Valentine's Day. You could do green and do a little leprechaun hat at St. Patrick's Day, a black one for New Year's, red and green for Christmas, all kinds of different things. And you don't have to use just felt either. If you would, a lot of things come packaged with a really super thin cardboard. You can use that and cut these out in the cardboard, or cut these out in the cardboard. Make them just, actually no, you could just use it that size and cover it in fabric if you wanted to make a fabric one. Now if you did that, say this was the cardboard, you would cut your fabric a little bit larger, and then you're going to notch it. I didn't think about this because this would have been a nice thing to show you guys. Let me grab a piece of paper. See, I think of things while I'm doing other things. Imagine that. Okay, so here's your paper. So if this was your while that's drying, I can show you this. Okay, so this is your piece. So if you, even cardstock, if you have any cardstock for your printer, you could use cardstock. So you'd cut it in that size, exactly as the pattern. Then cut your material. I'm thinking like a really pretty brocade. That would be awesome. You're going to cut your fabric a little larger, or for you sewers out there with a nice seam allowance on it. Okay, so the red is your cardboard, the black is your fabric, and then you're going to want to cut little V's into these rounded section. These two are fine the way they are, but in the rounded section, you're going to want to cut that out with scissors. Okay, you're notching the curved edges, and what that does is it allows your fabric to lay flat. Okay, so then you place your cardboard on top of the wrong side of your fabric with your glue. This is, you could try it with the tacky glue. The fabric tack should work great. Just put glue on the edge of the cardboard and then turn all the edges over. And go ahead and clip it like you're clipping this. Let that dry, and then you'll have a fabric covered cardboard that you can use the same way as you're using this felt. You'd do the same way with the brim and the top of the hat. You'd cut it a little bit larger, definitely notch the edges and turn that in, and you can finish it the same way. Now I'm going to have to make some fabric hats for my dolls, you know, in my free time. Okay, let's see if this dried yet. Now if you were using fabric tack, oh look, that did pretty good. Yep. So the Aleene's tacky glue works great. Now if this little edge bothers you, you can always get some trim and cover it, but I think trim actually brings your attention to it more than just having that seam on there. Plus that's going to be on the back of your hat, so for pictures and whatnot it really shouldn't matter. Okay, now what we want to do is we are going to take our glue and we are going to put a bead of glue all around this. Okay, you're going to center that in the middle of the hat. This would make a really cool Mad Hatter hat. Okay, and if you have bigger or smaller dolls, just resize these. There's a way you can do it in the computer and just you know, increase them in percentage size and print them out, or you can just hand trace them and do them a little bigger or smaller for your other dolls. Okay. And like I said, if you wanted a top hat that was straight up and down, you would just do a straight rectangle of fabric, and then it would be the same dimension around. Okay. So, oops, I'm picking a cat hair off my thing, and it popped right off. So, be careful with that. This has to dry. Like I said, I usually use, I recommend the Fabri-Tac. Just because I know it sticks and stays. And it's meant to use with fabric. Yeah, little studio cat's behaving today. She's not walking in front of the camera like she usually does. Okay, so you have this glued together. Now, if you're worried about this crushing or anything, it's pretty sturdy. Look, I'm tapping on it and it's keeping. You can put some polyfill down in there, but honestly, it holds pretty well. Unless, you know, if you shove it in a suitcase and put stuff on top of it, yes, it will get crushed. Ask me how I know that. Okay, so, yeah, I always drove to doll shows, so this flying to doll shows is a new thing for me, and I can't take what I usually used to take, because you have to get everything on the plane. Okay, so you want a nice bead around the edge. Looks like a gingerbread house, doesn't it? And then you're going to have to try to shape it a bit as you put your, and you'll have some excess, so you just wipe that off with your fingers. Okay, now this has to sit here and dry. Okay, but there you go, you have your little top hat. Okay, so after that dries, that's when you can come in and really snazzy this up. You know, you can add some trims on the hat. I have some of this little real super thin grosgrain ribbon that I love. I'm going to leave that sit to the side to dry. This stuff, this is here in the U.S. I'm not sure if Canada has Joann Fabrics. They have these little cards. It's a pack, and they come by color. And they have all kinds of little cool little trims in it. Yeah, these have been my latest thing that I always pick up at Joann's. All these cute little trims. So I saw this brown one, so I can put this on. Add a few of my little gears, metal gears that I have for my steampunk, and that is a little hat. So as you can see, then once this is dry and trimmed, you can just sew it or glue it onto your headband. Now, other things you can use, like I have those ribbons there. You can decorate with buttons. Look at this goodie bag a friend sent me. Little flowers you can add. I don't know whether I have anything small enough to go on this hat, or the style that I'm trying for. So, but you know, this is where you can get creative and play around. Hey, look. So, and even these, you know, like I said, put a little Velcro on the bottom, and you can have interchangeable headbands. So I hope this helped. And gets you inspired to make some little hair accessories for your pumpkins. So as always, if you have any questions, just ask me here on the Punkin page. Happy creating, guys.